Hey guys, welcome to our last video. My name is Andrew. We have Nathan here to help and Toby also here to help. Okay, so we're going to go through the backward roll. We're going to look at different drills right from beginning the backward roll, drills to help introduce the skill, and then we'll finally finish off by actually doing the skill. Okay, but right after this this clip, Mitchell will show you a backward roll and what we're working towards.
Hello, my name is Mitchell and I'm going to show you a backward roll.
Alright guys, before we get started, we're just going to do a quick warm up and stretch for the things that we'll be using today. Okay, so we're going to start off with the neck, just applying light pressure behind your head, okay, and looking down to the floor. So this exercise is just going to stretch out the neck muscles, okay. Make sure our neck's warmed up before we start doing the backward roll. Okay, now we'll just change to a look up. Okay, no pressure needed to be applied with our hands for this one. Okay, and then we're going to do a head to a side. Again, just light pressure with your hand. Okay, and then the other side, again with light pressure. Okay, cool. Now next thing we're going to do, we're going to get onto our hands and knees. We're going to give our wrists a bit of a warm up. It's very important to warm up your wrists before we do gymnastics because a lot of skills will use it, and if you don't warm it up, they could potentially become sore. Okay, so I'm just going to go side to side. Okay, and change your hands as well. You should feel the stretch in your forearms. Okay, you know you're doing it correctly if it is stretching. Okay, pancakes, switching sides. Okay, a few times up and down. Alright, so we're going to stop there. That's all the warm up we need for the backward roll. We'll see you in the next section. Alright guys, we're going to start off with the most basic drill. And this drill is to teach the child how to roll back and place their hands correctly. So it's very important that we get a good hand placement in our backward roll. We don't want to be rolling over our necks. We want to be able to push off our arms and get that pressure off our head and neck to safely do the backward roll. Okay, so we're going to, this drill is quite simple. We're going to start in a tuck position, standing on our feet, okay, getting our hands by our ears, ready to place on the floor. Okay, so Nathan will show you what you do first, then I'll explain a few things. So we roll back, place our hands nice and flat, and back onto our feet. Okay, so when we do this, we want to think of a couple things. We want to keep our legs in tuck. Okay, so you can see Nathan is in a nice tuck position, knees close to his chest. When we roll back, we want our hands flat on the floor, as Nathan is doing quite correctly. A lot of times people put their hand crooked like this, okay? There's no way you can push from your hands in that position, so we want our hands in like that, elbows close, okay? And then keeping in tuck position, we want to roll back onto our feet, okay? So that's the general idea of this drill. Start in tuck, roll back, hands flat, okay, and roll back onto the feet. Now I've talked a lot, so Nathan, can you just show the viewers what it looks like without me from tuck, without me explaining? Yep. Roll back, hands flat, and up. Okay, nice and simple. Alright, now when we actually do a backward roll, we don't go from this position. Okay, we actually stand up a bit higher to this position. So it's a squat position, okay? We're leaning forward, we're getting our hands by our ears, ready to place them on the floor again. So this is actually how we'll start the actual forward roll when you do it on the floor. Okay, so Nathan, show them the roll back, hands flat, and then roll up again. So roll back, hands up, and up again. Okay, so when we do this, even though we're starting from a higher squat, we don't want to just drop and fall down. We want to make it smooth. So we start going back, roll, okay, hands flat, and then stand up again. Okay, so guys at home, practice each variation, one from a tuck's position. Practice that 3 or 5 times till you get comfortable placing your hands, and then practice the other variation from a squat position like this. Okay? We'll see you in the next part where we have a different drill. Alright guys, so now we're actually going to start doing a backward roll, but we're not going to do the full version of the skill yet. We're going to do another variation called the safety roll. And it's called the safety roll because we put our arms like this, okay, as Toby is demonstrating. And if we have our arms in that position, it'll actually support our neck, support our head, make sure everything's nice and safe as we roll over. Okay, so let's look at how we do the backward roll. We don't expect you to have a wedge at home. Okay, so this is something we'll be doing at the gym. Alright, so Toby just showed you what we're going to do. Now let's go through it slowly, okay? We start sitting down, legs over the edge, arms in our position. Now, as we start to fall back, the first thing that we need to do is to lift our legs up, okay? So when we start to fall back, we need to lift our legs up to our chest. And that will help us get momentum to carry our body over our head, okay, where we can land on our feet. Alright, so we start to fall back, then lift our legs up into a tight tuck position. Okay, so Toby's going to demonstrate that. Roll back, lift your legs up, and we get enough momentum over. Now if you fall at the end like Toby did, that's fine, okay? The whole point of this exercise is just to get over doing the backward roll, but maybe Toby can show them one a bit nicer, where you land on your feet. Good, so arms, okay, fall back, lift your knees up, and get onto your feet. Perfect, just like that. So practice that a few times, that will help you get some confidence rolling over before we start the next drill, which is an actual backward roll. Alright, now that we're familiar with rolling over, we're going to actually try to start to do the backward roll with the correct technique and using your hands, okay? So like I said before, you're pushing from your hands is very important to get the pressure off the back of your head and neck, okay? So we're going to go ahead and sit on the wedge, quite similar to what we did last time, but instead of putting our hands in a safety position, we're going to put them in the same position that we practiced in the first drill. So we're going to have to remember what we did in the first drill, because that is the first part of the backward roll. Okay, so as Nathan starts to lean back, okay, we have to again lift our knees up to your chest, okay, to get momentum for the roll. Now in this position, as you notice, like we did in drill 1, our hands are perfectly flat on the wedge. So from this position, Nathan is going to be able to push off his arms, land on his feet. Okay, so Nathan's going to show you the full backward roll now. Okay, fall back, knees over, and pushing on your hands. Perfect. One more time, please, for the viewers. Okay, so watch his hands, how he places on the floor, and then watch his push on the arm. That's what I want you to notice. Okay, perfect. This time I'm going to demonstrate how to spot. Okay, so this is for the parents and for coaches. To spot the backward roll, we're just going to place one hand up on his upper back / neck, okay? So just here, and what we're going to do is to provide some support on his neck as he rolls over. So when he comes over here, I'm just going to lift up a bit, and that will help him go over with less pressure on his neck. Alright, let's go, Nathan. So roll back and lifting up a bit. Now there's one more thing you can do with your other hand. So notice I was only using one hand. With our other hand, we can help bring our knees over, because sometimes kids struggle with momentum. Okay, so you can help them get momentum while supporting their neck. Okay, and I'll show you how you do that. Hand upper back / neck. Okay, when he starts to roll back, I'm just going to give some support and lift up to get the pressure off his neck. Alright, in the next section we'll look at even more variations to how we can get start doing it on a flat floor, because that's our ultimate. Alright, so once you've perfected the backward roll down the wedge, a slightly harder variation is backward roll on the box. So We're gonna do the backward roll. We're gonna put our hands on the edge, but we're gonna land our feet on the floor, and that bit of height will help us roll onto our feet, okay? So we're gonna start off as we did in drill 1, not from a tuck, but from a squat stand position. Have our hands ready so that when we roll back, we can put them flat, tuck our knees, and push off our arms, all right? Toby, show them what you got. We push onto our feet. Okay, very good. Now show them one more time. I want you to do a bit of a bigger, stronger push, okay? Squat down, perfect. Roll back, strong push, okay? Slightly missed his hand, but same idea. We push off the box onto our feet, okay? Once this becomes too easy, throw the box away and we can try it on the floor, okay? So the technique's very similar from the wedge to the box to the floor. It's only the amount of help that you get is a bit different, okay? So starting in the squat, roll back and push onto our feet. Perfect, okay? So that is the full backward roll. Starting first on the wedge, doing the safety roll, then starting to use our hands, move on to the box, and after you become comfortable in the box, it's time for you to take it to the floor. Alright guys, now we're going to go through some common mistakes. It's going to be slightly repetitive. We have mentioned a few of these before when we went through the technique, but it's always a good idea to go over them again, make sure we know exactly what to do. Okay, the first common mistake is not placing your hands correctly. Okay, so Nathan will show an example of this. We roll back in our backward roll, and you know, our hands like this or to the side. Basically, we can't push from that position. So if we continue the roll, we're going to be going over our neck and be putting a lot of pressure on our head and neck. Okay, so Nathan's going to turn around and show you what it might look like from this angle, so you can have a bit of a clearer picture. Okay, so hands like out, we don't want. Elbows out, we don't want. We want elbows in and hands nice and flat, okay, facing forwards, just as Nathan is showing now. Okay, thank you, Nathan. So now we're up to the second mistake. The second mistake that we're going to go through today is not keeping our legs tight. Okay, so a lot of kids, when they do the backward roll, they focus on the hands, they focus on the head, but forget about the legs. And the legs are very important because the legs, the tucking that we do when we roll back, is what gives us the momentum and the tight position to actually get over. For floppy, we won't be able to get over. Okay, so show them a floppy legs, straddle legs like this. Yeah, legs everywhere, legs straddle, no good. What we want is knees together, feet together, and when we roll back, to bring our knees to our chest. Okay, roll back, bring our knees to our chest, just like that, in a nice, tight, tuck position. That's what will get us over in the back. Now the third common mistake is not finishing off the roll correctly. Okay, so as you've seen Toby and Nathan demonstrate, we always want to finish off on our feet in the tuck position. But a lot of times kids don't do this. They land on their ankles or their shins, okay, as Nathan will demonstrate. So landing on your shins, landing on your knees. It's not the best for your feet because you may land on an angle that hurts it, and you're not finishing off the skill. You can't go anywhere from this. You're stuck doing just a backward roll to your shins. But if we do go onto our feet, okay, as Nathan will show now, we're prepared for what's next, okay, and we're actually finishing off the skill properly, which is exactly what we want, okay? All right, we got one more mistake for you guys, and that is going over going over a shoulder or putting your head to the side. So sometimes when the kids try it out, they think it might be easier if we go crooked roll over your shoulder, okay, but that actually puts our neck in an unfavorable position off to the side when we roll. We don't want that. We want our head in Okay, and we don't want to be putting any pressure on our neck, because we want to be pushing on our hands, get that pressure off our neck. So Nathan will demonstrate the mistake of going over a shoulder, putting it to the side. Okay, now please turn around, Nathan, in case they couldn't see from that angle. Yep, so you'll notice he puts his head to the side and goes over his shoulder. Okay, a couple of things, it means we're not pushing properly, so we're not getting into our final tough position, ready to go. And also, as I said before, our neck is not in a good position. It can be easy to hurt our necks if we do it like that. Okay, that's all the common mistakes that we're going to go through today. Thank you for tuning into our final video. We hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the gym. Alright, thank you guys for joining us in our last video. We hope you learned a lot about backward rolls, and me, Nathan and Toby hope to see you in the gym sometime soon. So thank you guys, and see you in the gym.